Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Manahil Morjawali and I'm joining from the vibrant city of Karachi, Pakistan. Today we are about to embark on a truly inspiring journey with a guest whose voice has not only reached the hearts of many but has also transformed life across the globe. So we are honored to have with us an award-winning vocal confidence and communication specialist, a person who believes in the power of liberating one's voice to liberate one's life. Beyond her role as a voice vibration around a practitioner, she stands as a beacon of employment, guiding individuals to organizations to speak with confidence, communication with clarity, and life unshakably. So, viewers, please join me in warmly welcoming the remarkable Ma'am Judith, a master in turning fears into strength and silence into eloquence. Today, we share with us not just her life journey, but the secret to unlocking our own voice to achieve personal and professional greatness. So, welcome, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, I am very, very well, thank you, and delighted to be here with you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's my pleasure. So, before moving on questions, can you please introduce yourself for my viewers?
Okay, well, you did a very good job of introducing me. So, um, I am a vocal confidence and communication specialist, and I also work with voice vibration as a sound healing modality or practice to help people change their mental, physical, emotional, and energetic state. So, for example, from stressed to calm. So that is the work that I do. And whether that is working one-to-one with people, working, delivering presentations in companies or at groups or running my own retreats. And of course, relevant to this specific interview, a lot of my work is and can be done remotely and always has been, even before the COVID time of people realizing that you can work from home. So I also run my own business from my home, from wherever I am. So I'm delighted to be here to speak with you today.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for an amazing introduction. Now, let's move on to questions. My first question is on your screen. Can you explain what liberating your voice means and why is it's important?
Mm. Gorgeous question. So you're right. As you said earlier, I one of my taglines is liberate your voice to liberate your life. So liberating your voice, what does that mean? So freeing your voice, but freeing it from what? Sometimes it's a physical freeing. So some people speak very quietly or they have a voice that gets trapped in their body. And so it's about helping people have more ease in actually speaking. Mostly it's liberating your voice from the fear of speaking. Now, for some people, the fear of speaking is a concept. It's that they're afraid that other people will judge them negatively, that other people will maybe not like or agree with what they say. So they keep their voice shut up or shut down. For some people, the fear is real. You know, there are some countries that if you speak out, you know, vociferously, your life might actually be in danger. There are some people who share their voice, like you mentioned earlier when we were chatting before we came live, you mentioned Greta Thunberg. You know, there is a really good example of someone who has shared their voice without fear, despite, you know, death threats and, you know, people hating her. And, you know, for her, she actually potentially, because she's speaking about something that for many people is very emotive, you know, her fear is quite real. Whereas for lots of people, and for most of the people who I work with, the fear is the fear that's trapped in our own mind, the fear of, they're not actually going to end up in physical danger from speaking. So there is a spectrum of what that fear is and how physical that fear is. For some people, the physical likelihood of being hurt from speaking is real. For the majority of people that I work with, it's less real. But for some people, for example, I work with a client who she trapped her voice. She was very quietly spoken. She was afraid to speak about the holistic practice that she did. So she worked with energy, and speaking about that she felt was embarrassing. Now, she had never actually had any danger from speaking, but she grew up in a household where if her mother spoke up, her father would hit her mother. So she grew up seeing that sometimes to speak out can create physical danger. So liberating your voice has such a wide meaning, and it's different for everyone. For the majority of people, it's the self-imposed fears. For some people, it's because their experience in life has shown them that it's not safe to speak up. And then for other people, even smaller group, it is actually dangerous for them to speak up. And I really take my hat off to those people who still speak up anyway, because that's a whole level of bravery that if I'm honest, I'm not sure whether I would. I'd have to, depending on the situation and the cause. I think if it was a cause I believed in enough, like we'll take Greta Thunberg, then if you believe in something fully and thoroughly, you will stand. Or Malala, for example, if you believe in something so deeply, you will speak for it anyway, even if, like Martin Luther King or Gandhi, that means that your life goes because of it. So there's a wide answer to that question of what liberating your voice is. But the benefits of it, again, for most people in everyday life, is that they will be heard, that you can start asking for what you need. You can start asking for what you want. You can start setting boundaries. You can start saying yes to yourself, and you can start saying no to things that you don't want to do. So the benefits of liberating your voice are, you might get a better job. If someone is wanting to remote work and their company don't have a clear policy on it, well, if they don't ask to remote work, then the answer will be no. But you never know. If you have the courage to ask, the answer could be yes.
That's an amazing answer. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. And you are right. What we want to do, so we can say yes, and what we don't want, so we can say no. So that's an amazing answer. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. My next question is on your screen. How do you help people overcome the fear of being judged, the known, and being seen?
Thank you. How do I help people overcome the fear? Well, and I could and I do talk about this for days. I run a 2-day workshop, so I'm going to try and keep this concise. The number one thing I do is I work with people's mindset. So the fear of being judged is the number one fear about speaking up. The fear of the unknown is also there because, like you said before when we were speaking, you have only been learning English for a year. And I'm sure when you first started doing interviews in English, it was the unknown, right? You didn't know how people were going to respond to you. You didn't know if people would be patient with you or if people would be kind, right? So the unknown is, how will this work? You've never done an interview before. Oh, have I got the structures right? I was at a networking meeting today, and a man there said, I want to run workshops, but I haven't had any official training as a trainer. So his fear was the unknown. What if I can't run these workshops because I haven't trained as a trainer? And the fear of being seen, for some people, they don't like the way they look. So it's a fear that, they don't want people to see them. And the fear of being seen is also the fear that people will see through you. They'll see your weaknesses or they'll see your failures. How I help people overcome these is through a combination of brain, body, and breath exercises. But 85%, 90% is the brain. It's starting to change your mindset, changing the way you think about yourself and changing the way you think about your perception of other people or the world, and therefore changing the way you think about yourself in relation to other people or in relation to the situation that you're in. So the mindset work as a coach is 85, 90% of the work is changing the way you're thinking.
Yeah, you are right. It's an amazing answer. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. So, my next question is for you. How do you differentiate between confidence and arrogance in the context of vocal expression?
I love this question because so many, and I can see the research you've done into me. So thank you for the preparation you've put for this interview. So many of my clients, people who come to my workshop, one of their fears is the fear that other people will judge them. If they become more confident, people will judge them as being arrogant. So the difference vocally is confidence comes when you know something is it's just true. Arrogance very often comes across when you're trying to force something, or it might be true, but there's a part of you that believes that makes you better than other people. So people who are afraid of sounding arrogant, trust me, you won't. Because arrogance comes from the belief that not only it might be true, you might be the best person in the world at what you do, right? So you might be Usain Bolt, right? Who probably isn't the fastest person in the world anymore, but he was. So there's a difference between saying, I am the fastest person in the world. That's confident, right? I am. And, well, I am the fastest person in the world. So that means you are less than me. It's the subtext. It's what's going on underneath that makes it sound arrogant. So my wish is that for anyone who is afraid that being more confident or appearing more confident or sounding more confident, if you're afraid that will make you arrogant, it won't. Because people who are arrogant, they don't worry about it.
Yeah, you are absolutely right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. My next question is for you. Can you share some example of how improved vocal confidence has helped your clients in their personal and professional lives?
Oh, in so many ways, from the really practical of getting a better job, earning more money, having time to themselves. One of my clients came to me not knowing whether she wanted to go for promotion or not, and came to the decision that actually she didn't want to go for promotion because it would be too stressful, and her health, when she got stressed, her health was bad. So she made the choice to not go for promotion and to actively be confident in saying that both to her boss and to herself. So her health was better, like better health, better finances. I had one client who, after spending a day intensive with me, which at the beginning he said, oh, it's a bit expensive. I'm not sure. And he went away after that day. And not only did he stop someone at work from bullying him, so he'd been being bullied in the workplace, he also then created an £80,000 contract. So from having the confidence to express himself. So the benefits are so vast. And then on a personal level, so yeah, getting promotions, getting better money, getting more time for yourself, then being able to set boundaries, being able to say no, feeling like you have more control over your own life. And then the simple things. You know, one of my clients was so softly spoken. Every time she went out for a meal, when she was giving her order, the waiter would say, oh, sorry, pardon? Sorry, oh, can you repeat that? And she'd have to repeat herself at least 3 times. After doing the work with me, she came to my 2-day workshop, and when we had 3 sessions together, she went out for a meal with her friends, she ordered her food, the waiter took her order down, and all of her friends went, he heard you. So it can be really simple things that to other people might seem like a little thing. But if you've spent your life having to repeat yourself, and suddenly in those situations you're able to say what you want without having to repeat yourself, can you imagine the bliss? So reducing stress, if I had to give top 3 things, number 1 would be reducing stress. Number 2 would be people being able to set boundaries on their time and their capacity, and therefore feeling happier. And number 3 would be financial and positive career benefits. It's a joy.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing an amazing example. Thank you so much for your answer. My next question is for you. Could you describe the whole voice method and its key components?
So the whole voice method is something I came up with to help people have challenging conversations. And this came from a client who came to me for public speaking coaching. He wanted to be able to give better presentations at work. But then we got into a conversation about work, and it turned out that there were real problems with his manager, with a different manager. And I said, so when you've said this to them, what have they said? And he said, oh, I haven't said anything because I'm worried. Like if I have this conversation, what if I'm seen as being difficult? What if I reduce my chance of promotion? What if I'm seen as difficult and end up getting the sack? So he hadn't had the challenging conversations. So I created this method which helps people detach from the emotions of what we're feeling about the conversation that needs to be had, to, again, changing the mindset to be able to change your perspective, but also to break down from your own perspective what's really there. And I use this all the time. I did this just the other day with someone who I'm working with at the moment, and there was a miscommunication, and I was getting really emotional and upset and feeling hurt. But instead of going to that person with, you did this and it makes me feel hurt and it's la la la, I use the process on myself. So the first thing is the V, which is allow yourself to vent. So let it out, but not to the person, like to yourself. Write it out or speak it out so that you can really get to underneath, well, I'm feeling this and this and this and this and this, and I'm feeling this, because underneath all that, you'll get to, oh, and actually, there's this. The I is to identify repeating themes so that you can see the pattern of what is actually under there, what's under the problem. So when I do the I before the O, so we then have to take ownership of what we haven't done. So I would take ownership that actually, for example, from this thing this week, I've been really tired. I also have a few other things that are stresses in my life. And I will take ownership of the fact that in this specific situation, I hadn't set my expectations of the other person, and I hadn't asked them their expectations of me. So you take ownership of your part in the problem. The C is to choose. So you choose one key challenge. And it's usually something that you can put an I in front of. So for the client that I created this for, we came up with what lay underneath everything was, I just don't know where I stand anymore. So you take, again, taking ownership of your part in the confused communication. And then the E is how you express that. And it's always expressing, assuming that the other person is ignorant of the difficulties and innocent of intending you harm, which is very difficult when you're feeling hurt. But when you get to that, as you work through the whole voice method, which is why I want to get this method into companies, to help companies create a culture of clear communication, because so many resignations could be avoided. The number of people I've done this with who are about to resign their job, and then they realize, oh, actually, it's this. And then they go and have the conversation and the problem gets solved, and they're still there. So I really want to get the whole voice method into companies to help create a culture of clear communication, so that people can be less stressed, ask for what they need, and feel seen and heard.
Yeah, very invaluable answer. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. My next question is for you. Can you share a memorable success story from your coaching practice?
Well, I believe I've done that all the way through. So all of those people I was talking about before, all of that. There are so many. And the personal successes from, being able to ask for a meal in a restaurant, to the professional successes of getting the promotion or the £80,000 contract. Every single person I work with has usually both a personal and professional outcome from working with me. Better health, feeling less stressed, earning more money, having got rid of someone who's been negative in their life but haven't had the ability to say, like, there's so many. I think I have scattered this interview with those success stories.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for your answer. My last question is: what is one piece of advice you would give to someone struggling with the vocal confidence?
Oh, one piece of advice. I would say get to know yourself deeply. So deep self-awareness. The work I really, really do with people is deep self-awareness. So knowing your patterns, because when you know yourself, you then understand what it is that's stopping you from expressing yourself. What you start understanding the fears. So ask yourself the questions. How am I afraid of being negatively judged? What am I afraid of that's unknown? What am I afraid that other people will see in me if I share my voice? And then ask yourself the question, is that real? Do I know that that is true? Or am I making it up because that's what I'm afraid of? So ask yourself that first. Get to know yourself. Ask yourself those questions. And the other simple thing is, what good things might happen for you or for other people if you were to say what you were going to say or do what you're afraid of doing. Because I'm sure that, again, a year ago when you hadn't been speaking English for a year, you had fears about doing interviews like this. But I'm sure one of the things that helped you do this anyway is not just the amazing energy of the school that you're at, but having that mission, having that something bigger than you to work towards. So for me, that is, my mission is to positively impact the lives of more than 100 million people by creating more confident, connected communicators. So if I'm letting my fear of what other people might think about me stop me from sharing my voice, then I'm not practicing what I preach, and I don't deserve to impact those 100 million people. So ask yourself, how may it help me or someone else? How may it benefit if I were to share my voice? Because we can always have answers for the hundreds of thousands of things that might go wrong. What if people don't like me? What if they don't agree with me? What if I appear stupid? What if they don't understand me? What if? Well, what if the good stuff? Ask yourself, what if it went well? What if they were understanding? What if they were kind? What if no one has ever thought this question before? So I know I've given more than one piece of advice there, but really all of that is encapsulated in get to know yourself and how your brain is working, and change the questions you're asking yourself to put yourself in the energy to be able to have the confidence to share your voice.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your empowering advice. So, to our audience, thank you for joining and being part of this meaningful dialogue. Mr. Judith journey remind us all the power of our voice and the importance of embracing it with confidence, clarity, and courage, whether in our personal lives and professional environment. The ability to communicate effectively and with the conviction is a transformative tool that can lead us to unparalleled success and fulfillment. So, if you want to learn more about Ma'am Judith's work to seek guidance, your journey to vocal and personal empowerment, please join her YouTube, join her on her Facebook, LinkedIn, so connect with her and learn with her. So goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving me a precious time.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. So I'm concluding this interview. Keep speaking your truth and making your voice heard. I'm Manahali Morjawali. It has been a pleasure to share with this time with you. Stay inspired and take care. Bye.